Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. So excited to be back here with Goods Holistic Healing. That's the website too, goodsholistichealing.com. We're excited to have Keith Good joining us here because he's all about energy healing as a Reiki master, crystal Reiki master, spiritual mentor, meditation guide, crystal healer, chakra healer, and just an awesome person. He wears many titles. He's a good guy hailing to us from Billings, Montana, but virtually he can work with you anywhere around the world. So we're going to stress that today and talk more about him and, of course, his services. So welcome back. How are you?
Doing well. How's everybody out there doing?
Fantastic. We got a little cool spell here in New York. How's Montana?
Hot.
I was going to say probably no relief, but that's okay.
Well, we're getting a little relief now, but down into the 80s.
Great. Well, please, for those new time listeners, tell us a little about yourself, Keith Good, and of course, your practice.
Okay, my name is Keith Good, and I have a master degree in divinity of metaphysics. Um, I also a Reiki master teacher. Those are the two titles that I claim most of the time. um, and I think that we ought to, as we already said, we've had goodsholistichealing.com.
Yeah.
But we can also be reached at info@goodsholistichealing.com, and we can be reached at 406-272-6006.
Perfect.
Here at Good Holistic Healing, as Jill has said, we do a lot of different things. I do a lot of different things. I am going to just put it out there right now that's coming January 1st. We're expecting to start our shadow work
Yay.
service, and that won't happen till next year. We're getting things set up for that. Again, all this will be done virtually, and so we have a lot going on here. We do a lot with crystals. We do a lot with Reiki. We do a lot. I do a lot with I do a lot of spiritual mentoring, and a lot of people are questioning things today, and that's what the spiritual mentoring is all about. We'll get into that here probably in another couple weeks or so when we get more into that. Might touch on a little bit later today too. We'll see.
Perfect. I love getting started.
Excuse me.
You offer so much to so many people. And I just got to stress, we're doing our work here live on our Zoom today, here on our podcast. And even though you're Montana, you can work with someone in Utah, you can work with someone in Australia. It doesn't matter.
Yes, that is correct. I ran across a potential client the other day who set up a appointment with me, and when I sent her my Zoom link, she refused to do it. She didn't understand how virtual
Oh,
stuff worked.
got it. So let's
So
explain that. Yep.
I wanted to get it out there today to all you people that are listening and watching, how this virtual stuff works. First of all, energy, and this is probably the most important thing to understand, is that energy itself knows no time nor space.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, even though you can say in our third dimensional thing, you can look at a star and say it already burnt out, but we're just not seeing the light of it. Um, the energy travels so fast that I mean, if energy itself travels faster than the speed of light. Even Einstein took, I believe it was Einstein, took two molecules of calcium that were connected at one point and separated them, moving at the speed of light. And when he rotated one, when he somehow rotated the one, instantaneously the other one started rotating right with it. And that's because they were all connected.
Okay.
And if you think about that for a minute, it doesn't matter whether a person believes in the Big Bang Theory
Mm-hmm.
or in creation or whatever, we all came from one source. So all energy is connected.
Wow.
Therefore, the healing energy that you can receive um, can happen pretty much instantaneously. I saw a speaker one time who was smudging the conference that I was at.
Ooh.
And because he wasn't allowed to do a lot of smoky stuff in the building, he just lit it for a second and he
Yeah.
ran his feather and went boom. And he said, now that reached the back of the room as fast as it reached the front of the room
Oh,
because energy moves that fast to clear things, to do
okay.
anything, to heal, to do any kind of thing. Energy moves that fast.
Wow.
So, and actually, I can give you a couple of instances of some of my clients.
Sure.
The very first person I tried distance Reiki on, and distance Reiki is different than virtual Reiki, only in the fact that distance Reiki, you don't see the person.
Oh, okay. Okay, but still from afar.
You're
Got it.
sitting in you're sitting in your own bedroom or wherever nice, and I'm just sending it to you.
Got it. Okay,
And this
perfect.
person because it was my first time doing it, this person we spoke on the phone, and she was 150 miles away from me. And she actually, when we got done with the Reiki session, this lady actually said it was more powerful than having it done in person.
Wow.
She felt the energies much more deeply, and I just think that's because I don't think it is any more powerful. I just think that it's psychologically more powerful because the person, when they're on your table, when they're in person, they have a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
um, agitation and so forth, and being in their own space.
Got it.
So, um, and then I had another person who was about the same distance away who had given me permission to perform Reiki with him, and he decided to try and take his own life.
Ah,
And he was up in the mountains, and because I had found out about it,
ah.
I immediately sent Reiki to him, and they found him. He went to the hospital.
Mm.
Everything was fine. And the doctors said, I don't know how you survived this. You took enough drugs to kill a horse, but you got through it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm any better than anybody else
I
because I
know.
don't do this.
Yeah.
Reiki is its own energy. I am just channeling
You're the channeler. Yep. You're the conduit in a sense. Mm-hmm.
it. Exactly.
Okay.
So, I think that's important to know that's what Reiki can do. Reiki can actually, and you can see, you if you find the right programs on the television, you'll be able to see some examples of people who have had energy work. They just call it because they don't specify Reiki. That has done many things for many people from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People that are not willing to go to chemo for cancer and that kind of stuff,
Got
as
it.
long as it's caught early. So that's the importance of it. And I saw we had a hand up. I don't know.
Hand up. Whoa. Is this
No,
like,
I had a hand up on my screen saying somebody had their hand up, like somebody live was asking a question or something.
no, I didn't open the phone line so someone would even call him, but that is bizarre. I didn't see it, but the truth is maybe someone has a question that's going to come to us. This is wow. I didn't see it. I mean, I have
Well,
so
I
many
saw they said
questions,
they were
but
lowering
this is
it. Go
amazing.
ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead and
just
ask a question.
like, so how do you know what somebody needs? It just comes to you? And when you send
Well,
them the energy,
okay.
how long does it? Yeah, like,
Okay. Well, that's interesting because I don't know what they need.
okay.
Because I'm a conduit, I don't have to know what they need. I'm not doing the healing. When it comes to Reiki itself, I'm only channeling the universe. Reiki means universal life force energy. So I'm
Hmm.
only channeling that energy.
Okay.
Your body knows what it needs.
Okay.
Your body, your spirit knows what it needs. So the Reiki, wherever it needs to be. Um, there was a lady named Madame Takata who was the third Grand Master of Reiki, who used to always, this is in writing, in published work, where she had a young adolescent girl who went blind.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother had tried, this is back in the 40s, and the mother had tried all kinds of Western medicine, allopathic medicine, excuse me, and
Yeah.
nothing, they couldn't find out what was wrong with her eyes, why she had gone blind. So she took her to Madame Takata, who channeled Reiki to her. See, we don't perform Reiki, we channel Reiki because we're channeling the energy.
Yeah.
Um, and she worked with her and she started working with her ovaries.
Wow.
And after 2 or 3 visits of working with her ovaries, her mother finally said, her problem's in it with her eyes. Why are you working with her ovaries all the time? And she said, I have no idea. That's just where I'm drawn to go. 6 months later,
Wow.
she could see. So it was
Wow.
because it was a hormonal imbalance.
Uh-huh.
See, 90% of I'm guessing, but a lot of our um, physical ailments come from hormones. You have to understand that each one of our chakras um,
The seven main ones
is
you told us
connected to it,
about.
are all connected to an endocrine gland. So they're all connected to the hormonal system.
Oh,
So other than your root chakra, the root chakra is grounding, but the sacral, which is the second one up from the bottom down, just below your belly button, is connected to the adrenal glands. The solar plexus is connected to the pancreas.
okay.
The heart is connected to the thymus. The throat is connected to the thyroid. The third eye is connected to, there's a discrepancy here. Some people say the pituitary, some people say the pineal. I say the pineal. And the crown is connected to the other one, the pituitary, or the pineal, whichever
Mm-hmm.
one. So they're all connected to an endocrine gland inside your body.
Wow.
So, and because these chakras are energy vortices, basically, um, when you can heal a when you can work with the endocrine glands that are in your body, then that goes through your chakras, or your chakras go through them and heal them. So, um, so that along, and of course, a lot of that is the number one reason for any kind of disease, which if you put the hyphen in it is dis-ease, is due to stress. And most of our stress we create ourselves because we're looking forward, we're looking backward, we're worrying, we're not trusting our higher powers, we're doing this. And so we create our own stress, and the stress then creates physical ailments. So
Mm-hmm.
if we can become in harmony with ourselves through chakra work, through Reiki, through meditation, through spiritual mentoring, all these things, then we can have a better physical um, being.
Yeah.
Because most of us are humans. Most of us are not humans being. We are humans doing. And when we decide to be instead of do, we become more harmonized.
Got it. Okay. Oh,
Does that make any sense?
it does make sense.
So as long as we're always worried about what's the next thing and how to satisfy and how to be the same as the Joneses and how to outdo this person and all the, you're not being, you're doing. When you can just be who you are and be in the moment and be part of where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
then you're a human being, and you are much more relaxed. You're less stressful. You have less um, um, outside concerns. You're concerned with the humanity, not with materialism.
Mm-hmm.
and then then you're not as out of harmony or out of balance.
Wow. I want to become in balance. Don't we all? We are here with Keith Good. If you are just tuning in, and we got to remind you, he's here virtually to help you with all of your needs as an energy healer and so much more. GoodsHolisticHealing.com. Just want to remind everyone how we can reach out to you, of course. And what else in particular for today did you want to share about this virtual work that's helping people through a lot? Pain, yeah, I just can't believe that story about the ovaries connected to the hormones. I never thought about that. The chakras are all connected. Again, this is all new to me. You're teaching me a lot too.
Well, and I had another guy, just to give you another example, I had another gal who had some mental illness and still does to this day. And it would go into recession every time she was sexually active. But when she wasn't sexually active, she would go haywire. Again, it was a hormonal situation. So hormones do a lot to us, much more than what we're aware of. So we need to really be aware that balance is the number one, balance and harmony inside our bodies. So, but let's go on to the other services, because we do
Yeah,
mentoring, and spiritual mentoring is basically people who are questioning things that I deal with. Um, there's a lot of energies hitting us right now, sun flares and earthquakes and all kinds of different energies that are coming through from the universe right now. I don't know if anybody follows any. Not an astrologist. I don't know astrology very well, but I do listen to some people that talk about it, and there's a lot of energies, universal energies coming through. We just had a full moon, a super full moon. It had some energies and so forth. And with all this bombarding us right now, people are starting to question things around them. People are starting to question their faith. Some of them are starting to question how things work, why things are working, why we have so much discord in the world, um, why we having so many extra hurricanes and earthquakes and forest fires and because of all this, they start questioning everything. And I don't tell anybody how to believe, but we do this through a Zoom meeting, just like we're doing this podcast. I do this through a Zoom meeting, and basically what I'm doing is guiding, giving suggestions, making people think outside the box from what they're used to thinking, because we are so geared toward only thinking one way. We don't question things. And when we start questioning things, we're told we're crazy. But really what we need to do is start questioning everything. And as we start questioning these things, then we should oftentimes need guidance on where to go. How do I interpret this? Can I interpret it on my own? Do I have suggestions on how to interpret? That's what spiritual mentoring is on Zoom. Meditation is basically the same thing. You'll get into a comfortable spot. I'll guide you through a meditation. Eventually, my purpose of guiding a meditation is not for you to learn to listen to my voice all the time. Matter of fact, the perfect meditation is when you can't hear me anymore, when you don't have know a word about what I'm saying, and you're completely on your own in that meditation. That's my goal. My goal is for you to learn how to meditate on your own without being guided. Because if you're trying to get into a transcendental meditation, you use no senses. You don't want to listen. You want to be inside yourself. So I don't want you listening. So we always give quiet time in a meditation for a person to do that. But we do it on Zoom. You'll sit in your living room or your study or wherever it is, and get into a comfortable position and do the guided meditations. Even the chakra work. Chakra work is, again, energy. So it can move. It can move from me to Australia or England or New York City.
wow.
And so I think it's important we understand that energy knows no bounds, and energy is so fast. And keep in mind that sometimes we're not even trying to heal ourselves, we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
integrate some of the things that we already know about
Wow.
ourselves that we don't even realize we know. And that's just a touch as to what shadow work is. um,
Nice.
because we're being influenced constantly.
Yep.
And we're being influenced by what? We're being influenced by parental pressures, by sibling pressures, by peer pressures, by government pressures, by religious pressures, by societal pressures. All this tells us what we have to do. And
Mm-hmm.
we go by that instead of thinking for ourselves. And that's really the biggest problem with spiritual mentoring is that people don't want have been taught how not to think for themselves
Yeah.
and to let other people tell them how to think, how to believe, how to act, what laws to be. I'm not telling you to break a law. I'm just saying we're taught that specific. We're taught everything instead of saying, well, what do you think? How does this work for you? What is your path? You know, where does this go? Oftentimes divorces are not supposed to be divorces um,
Oh.
because I mean they're supposed to be divorces, but people look at them so third dimensionally that the
Mm-hmm.
parents get the couple gets angry at each other. The children suffer a little bit because they're bickering back and forth and so forth. And really, what a divorce oftentimes is just two people going on their own path, and
Yeah.
their paths are different. And there's no reason to judge that because everybody has their own path in this world.
Mm-hmm. So
And
why do people argue
but
so much when it comes to divorces? That no need. Can't we just be more understanding?
because exactly, and that's because we are being taught to be controlled by materialism.
Yeah.
And so I want the house, you want the dog. I want the this, you want.
Yeah.
That's why, because we are. It goes back to the teachings that have happened early in life.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have the best house. I have to have the best car,
Yeah.
and so that's what it's really all about. When you stop and look at a divorce or a separation of any kind, even of your friend or anything, it's all about what did I not get? What's in it for me?
Yeah.
Instead of well, okay, they need to go this way. I needed to go this way. What do I need anything to move on? Can I
Mm-hmm.
rebuild? Why do we have all this issue? And that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to the fact that we don't look at things in a spiritual manner all the time. And if
Yeah.
anybody watches any of my YouTube channels, any of my YouTubes, I oftentimes say, and they'll be starting back up next week, by the way, my YouTube channel will be. But
Awesome.
I often say, be spiritual in everything you do.
Mm.
And if you look at indigenous peoples, you'll find out how spiritual they were, even with Mother Earth. They thanked their food. They thanked Mother Earth for giving their food. They became part of Mother Earth. Mother Earth became part of all that. So that's part of the balance that we're missing.
Yeah.
We're sitting on concrete. We don't even have Mother Earth to put our feet on most of the time.
Wow.
So there's a whole I
Lot
could
to be
talk
said
for
for
two
that.
two weeks about that. you know,
Absolutely.
so that's part of the balance that this whole society is missing. And I don't mean just the United States.
Yeah.
You can go to England where it's just as bad. London's all concrete and Paris is all concrete. And so, it's all over the world today. It's not just the United States. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
other thing that we have to remember is that this is worldwide,
Yeah.
not just one country or city or state. It's worldwide.
Yeah.
And it affects the entire collective conscious of the world.
Wow. Wow. Powerful
So
stuff.
So yeah, but we can do all this virtually, and that's the biggest thing we're trying to bring out today. Is we need to know that all this can be done online, virtually. The next YouTube video that's coming out is
Right.
actually me moving out of my brick and mortar
Oh,
Reiki center
awesome.
and me. becoming totally virtual in this. And I did that for several reasons. One is because I want to travel.
Yes, as you should.
And what's that? What's that?
I said, as you should, rightfully earned, hard worker. And you can take it everything on the
So, well,
road and still work. It's amazing.
exactly. So you may find me on one of these podcasts with trees and there was woods in the background or something,
We're on the beach with a pina colada. I'm like, hey, look at
Yeah,
you
well,
living
yeah,
the
there
good
you go.
life. Oh, Keith, that's great. So, Keith, good. Again, how do we reach you? Urging everyone to contact him for these virtual or what did you call them? There's the virtual sessions compared to the,
Distance.
thank you, distance Reiki. Yeah, distance Reiki. Got it, got it, got it. And how can we reach you, darling? Unfortunately, we are out of time.
I see that. Let's say so goodsholistichealing.com, info@goodsholistichealing.com, 406-272-6006.
Beautiful. Well,
And always leave a message if you call.
great. Thank you so much. Will do. Have a fantastic day. Are we back again next week? Are you going to be live from where?
Now, we're 2 weeks, every 2 weeks.
All right. You'll be live from where? Are you going on vacation though?
I don't know yet. Our house is up for sale, so when it sells, we're gone.
You never know. All right, Keith. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here again. And thank you for being so awesome. It's a good word for you. You're awesome. You got
Well,
this
thank you for
energy,
having me.
calming energy about him. Please reach out and get started to work with him on your spiritual mentor journey and anything else that you may need. A lot of us have questions. I have questions, Keith. Maybe you can help me down my journey. I have so many questions. We'll talk another time. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. And thank the audience.
Bye,
Thank you
Keith.
very much.
Send me some good energy,
Bye-bye.
Reiki, positive vibe. Please send me some good stuff today.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.